Welcome to House Talk, with maintenance tips unique to the retreat at Banning Lewis Ranch, with your host, Doug Bowman. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about your house's fans and ventilation. Seems like a simple topic, but I assure you, you'll have a better understanding by the time we're done. Remember when you were growing up, the only time someone started a fan is when you burned something in the kitchen. Now, some people say you should run your fans all the time. It's very confusing. So what's changed? Well, the biggest change over the last several decades has been the improvements in high-efficiency homes being constructed. Previously, your windows and doors leaked by so bad you could feel the breeze. Now, high-efficiency homes are so tight that they can actually become unhealthy. A lot's been done to make sure that doesn't happen, but you still need to understand how it all works together. So let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about high-efficiency homes, why we need to refresh the air in our houses, how fans work and don't work, and how all these ventilation paths all work together. So let's start with high-efficiency homes. So if your home was built in the last 15 years, chances are really good that your home was built and certified as a high-efficiency home. The windows are tighter, the doors are tighter, and all in all, your utility costs should be less. Now, the downside of high-efficiency homes is that everything is so tight, and sometimes it's not safe to breathe. Moisture from cooking and showers can't escape, resulting in potential mold and mildew. Carpets, paints, and even furniture release formaldehyde, and because our houses are so airtight, under certain conditions, carbon monoxide from furnace and water heaters can back up into the home instead of safely being vented outside. These are the real hazards that come with high-efficiency homes, and are the real drivers towards running your ventilation systems more than in the past. So to get a better understanding how air moves in your house, let's talk about fans, how they work and how they don't work. Just look at all these different types of fans that could be in your home. There's the usual cast of characters like house fans, cooktop fans, and bathroom exhaust fans. There's also appliances that act like fans, like a dryer or a whole house vacuum cleaner, which just suck the air from the inside of your house and discharge it to the outside. And of course, we can't forget about the original house fan, the big blower fan that is in your furnace and air conditioning unit. All of these fans can affect the quality of the air in your homes. Now let's assume it's cold outside and your high-efficiency house is all closed up. You would think that if you turned all of these fans on, you would really exhaust a lot of air out of your house. But you would be wrong. Just watch this demonstration and it'll start to make a little more sense. Let's start with a small fan. Just running a fan doesn't mean it's moving any air. For air to flow out of a fan, an equal amount of air must be available to flow into a fan. Now let's pretend this tightly sealed box is your house with all the doors and windows closed. Now let's turn on the exhaust fan. After a slight vacuum is created, flow stops, even though the fan continues to run. It's only when I open a hole in the box does air begin to flow. If you want to exhaust 100 cubic feet of air out of your house every minute, you have to supply 100 cubic feet of air to your house every minute. Or more simply put, air out must always equal air in. Your immediate reaction would be to say, but my house can't be that airtight. There's got to be some leakage around the doors and windows. But builders can't take credit for any leakage around your doors and windows, so in high-efficiency homes, they've had to install dedicated air supply lines into your house. Yeah, you heard me right. They've installed a big gaping hole into your house, on purpose. But remember the rule, you'll never exhaust air out without supplying the same amount of air in. Without both of these working together, your exhaust fans would just be wasting electricity. So where does the blower fan fit into all of this? If you go back to my sealed box example, the blower fan draws air from the inside of the box, or house in this case, heats it or cools it, and then discharges it right back into the house. So now let's start an exhaust fan that draws air from the inside of the house and attempts to discharge it to the outside of the house. Whether the blower fan is running or not, there won't be any air leaving the house, because there is no way for that air to get back in. So how do we get rid of all these airborne hazards associated with high energy efficient homes? As I proved with the cardboard box test, builders have to install an air supply vent to complete the venting flow path, and that's independent of whether the blower fan is running or not. So now that you understand these two ventilation flow paths, you might say, okay, I get where the exhaust fans are, but where's this mysterious hole or supply vent in my house? Well, actually, this supply vent travels from the outside of the house through a 6-inch duct into the furnace room and ties into the return supply duct. Remember, the outside air traveling through this duct is trying to find its way back to the room with the running exhaust fan. And what better path is there than the existing furnace duct that already routes to every room in the house? Now, there's lots of other components that can and have been added to these systems to make them more efficient and comfortable. Components like whole house humidifiers, electronic air filters, and fresh air intake fans. But in general, the airflow path doesn't change very much with these components installed. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Well, for high-efficiency homes, just running your home's blower fan, while it does circulate and mix the air in your home, it does little to reduce the airborne hazards. The two viable options for improving your air quality are, first, opening multiple doors or windows to introduce a cross breeze of fresh air into your house. And second, when you can't open the house, keeping an exhaust fan running, no matter which fan you pick, is your best option. Either of these two choices makes absolute sense in keeping your house free of moisture, mold, and gases that can build up. Well, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button.